So the goal is to bring on board as many as we can. So yes, if we have more candidates that are coming into the department, that means in the long run we will be running more ambulances, right? So everything is about attrition, where a certain amount of people leave per year, and we want to make sure that we are bringing in that amount plus some, so that we can definitely keep ambulances on the streets and make sure that we're combating response times and getting to those life-threatening emergencies in a timely fashion.
Thank, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that your organizations and the outreach that you can assist us with will help to increase those numbers of applicants and viable applicants. So we definitely, again, appreciate you all taking part in this roundtable.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Thank you today for joining this roundtable discussion concerning EMS recruitment. I want to remind you all that this roundtable is being recorded with video and audio, and the recordings will be made available and shared with each of you after the event. We have scheduled an on-topic Q&A, so please hold all questions to the end. Now, to tell us more about this EMS recruitment, we have Chief of EMS, Michael Fields, and Director of EMS Recruitment, Brandon Mahone. Brandon?
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation. I wanted to take the moment to thank you all for hearing and being part of this presentation, this roundtable. I want to get right to it. We're going to talk about FDNY EMT and EMS Trainee, both titles that we are now currently recruiting for and are open. The civil service filing is now open for both of those titles. So let's talk about what this really is. A lot of folks see FDNY EMS in the field, in the streets, responding to calls and moving through and around traffic. This is a job that holds a lot of pride and respect for the individuals that take part. And the opportunity is now here for everyone. EMS responded to over 1.6 million calls in 2023, with EMTs and paramedics playing the most important roles in caring for the community. FDNY Probationary EMT School and EMS Trainee Academy consist of everyone who has completed the process, all trainees and all probationary FDNY EMTs that are appointed from a civil service list. Again, as I stated earlier, the exam filing period for these careers is currently open and will remain open until November 26th of 2024. Trainees and probationary EMTs begin their career at the EMS Academy located in Bayside, Queens. All the probationary EMTs and EMS trainees receive training from FDNY New York State certified instructors. Let's talk really quick about benefits and salaries. Now, these are one of the things that we feel should not be overlooked when individuals are thinking about new employment, in particular a career. FDNY EMS members receive incredible benefits package and a very competitive salary. Over 20 different health plans that are covering your immediate family and domestic partner. 5-year full pension vesting, so vesting with full benefits after 25 years of service. Also available at 401k and deferred compensation plans 457, excuse me. There is one of the great things about this job is that there is overtime and shift differential and meal money. And what that really means is individuals that work between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. receive a 10% shift differential on their salary that they're making. They do also receive biweekly meal money, and that is due obviously to EMTs and paramedics not having a full 1-hour lunch break. There are excellent promotional opportunities available. We talk about moving from EMT to paramedic, which is a 10-month program that is currently offered by the FDNY EMS Academy. There is a separate civil service filing for paramedic, but then there's also the movement to EMS officers. Starting currently now, we have the sergeant position that is available for EMTs, and then the lieutenant positions for paramedics, and from lieutenant, they move to captain and deputy chief and so on. FDNY EMT, the requirements. So let's talk really quickly about what the requirements are for this. It is a 4-year high school diploma or its educational equivalent, and that includes a GED, or even foreign high school education. The foreign high school education will have to be evaluated by an evaluation service that is certified in New York State. and they must have a valid New York State EMTB or EMTP certification. To be appointed, so when we talk about the application piece, the application is that the application, they'll go through a particular process, which is to be appointed, they must have and maintain a valid license in New York State. And what we mean is a driver's license that is valid in New York, because as an FDNY EMT, you are not required to live in New York State. We do not have a residency requirement for EMT. However, to complete this process, they must successfully complete a physical ability test, comprehensive background, and a character investigation, along with a medical and psychological test that includes drug screening. And this is for all of our EMS candidates. So it is similar for those that are going for EMS trainee. So we do kind of put this in a 5-step format. And step 1 is to file for the FDNY EMT civil service exam. Again, in this particular case, now this year we did have some changes. Governor Hochul instituted new changes. Now it's 17 to file for FDNY EMT. So that is something that they can do now. Also, you do not have to have your high school diploma until November 26th of 2025. So this is one of the things we want to make sure we get out to the younger folks. They can actually start the processing now, which will have them eligible in a year from now. So they must then take and pass the physical ability test. That's one of the first steps that happens after the civil service filing closes. EMS Recruitment reaches out to all of the applicants that have passed the education and experience exam. And we do offer free PAT preparation sessions for those candidates. Complete the candidate review, which means passing the medical, the psychological, the character and background investigation, which is handled by our candidate investigation division, our Bureau of Health Services here at FDNY headquarters. After their list number is reached, step 4 enters, and they will enter the probationary EMT school, or PES. It's approximately 13 weeks long with intensive classroom instruction. One of the things we stress to all applicants and candidates is maintaining that 75 average while in the academy, not missing days, because there are state mandates on the amount of hours you can miss. So we try to make sure that everybody is ready to go, geared up and prepared. Graduation from the academy, upon completion of the academy, successful completion, they'll be assigned to one of 40 EMS stations or emergency medical dispatch. So those are the quick ways to look at the 5 steps for applying for FDNY EMT. Here is the current salary structure for EMT. There is a base and total, as you note, and totals can change varying on whether an individual works an 8.5-hour tour set or a 12-hour tour set. As we talk about some of the fringe benefits included, the overtime and things like that. We can also send you an updated flyer, or a flyer with all of this information on it, so you can take more time to review it. Next up, we have EMS trainees, and as you see, a lot of them look a little younger because some of the trainees are a little younger. And this is, again, that target audience we're trying to reach, in particular, the high school students. I just knew my phone was going to ring today. So to file applicants for EMS trainee must be 17 years old by the end of the filing period, have a high school diploma, a GED, or foreign educational equivalent similar to EMT. But for trainees now, they must have one of the additional following: 6 months of full-time satisfactory employment, and that's anywhere, and it can be lumped from time period to time period. It doesn't have to be consecutive. So it can be from one job to the other job to another job, as long as it equates to 6 months of full-time. We do have a formula, well, DCAS has a formula for any part-time that can be converted to full-time hours. Or they can have 15 college credits from an accredited college or university, or U.S. military with an honorable discharge. Keep in mind now, with the new changes from Governor Hochul's signing the new legislation, if a person does not have the college credits necessary to make them eligible, they have until November 26th of 2025 for that to take place. If an individual does not have the 6 months of full-time satisfactory employment time, they have until May 31st of 2025 to reach that piece. U.S. military obviously would be something that they would have done already. To be appointed, it is very similar. It's the exact same as EMT. They must have and maintain a valid driver's license in New York State. successfully complete the physical ability test, background and character investigation, medical and psychological testing, which again does include a drug screen. The 5 steps are pretty much the exact same, except the probationary trainee program, which is PTP, it is a few weeks longer than the EMT class at the academy. However, the same rules apply. 75 average, and they cannot miss a certain amount of days. The salary does start out a little lower for the first 8 weeks. They are not yet state certified EMTs, so their salary is about that $36,330. Upon successful completion of the EMT exam, becoming state certified, their salary then does increase to where you see there the 3 months, and then picks up with the EMT salary structure. This time I want to say thank you for listening to the presentation. If any questions, you can definitely reach out to us at Recruitment at 718-999-FDNY or 3369, or recruitment at fdny.nyc.gov. And of course, on social media, joinfdny.com. Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I guess we'll go into a second portion of the presentation.
Yes. Thank you so much, Brandon. Now we'll open the floor to questions, to on-topic questions. Please use the raise hand function in your browser, and when your name is called, unmute and ask your question, or you can type your question in the chat window. Ektena from the Indian Eye.
Hi. I would like to know that whether you have to be a US citizen to apply.
No, you do not have to be a US citizen. You do have to be able to legally work in the United States. In order to file or register with the Department of Citywide Administrative Services, the Social Security number, or I believe some folks have the 9-digit temporary visa number, and that goes into that space. So they do have to have that in order to be able to file for the position.
Thank
Ozzy,
you.
Davidson Radio. Ozzy, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, I think he's having some technical difficulties. Monica?
Hello. Good afternoon. My question is, could you please talk a little bit about the certification that is needed to apply? Could you give any guidance? What should we inform the public about in terms of that? Like, how can you get that? Please, I'm not familiar with that at all. Thank you.
Okay, so there are 2 ways to actually enter FDNY EMS. One is having an EMT certification from New York State prior to the filing, or in this particular case now they have until May 31st of 2025 to obtain that. We've seen in the past folks have got their EMT certifications from outside entities. Colleges and universities tend to have a class or a course around that. There are also private entities that offer the course. They can visit nycremsco.org, which will schedule, and I'll give that to you again slower. It's one word. Yes, www.nycremsco.org. They have a full slate of schedule of places that are offering the EMT certification, and they should look for EMTB as in basic certifications, not the refresher. The other option, however, is to come in with us as an EMS trainee, which does not require that they have an EMT card, a New York State EMT certification already, and it does allow a layperson to start the process and get a more intensive training and gain their EMT certification while in the academy at FDNY.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Heather from Staten Islander.
Yes, hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So I just wanted to know, will this recruitment effort help to reduce ambulance response times, in a couple of years? And what is the goal of your recruitment in numbers of applicants that you guys are looking for?
Is Chief Fields there? I don't know if he wants to speak to the ambulance tour question.
So the goal is to bring on board as many as we can. So yes, if we have more candidates that are coming into the department, that means in the long run, we will be running more ambulances, right? So everything is about attrition, where a certain amount of people leave per year, and we want to make sure that we are bringing in that amount plus some, so that we can definitely keep ambulances on the streets and make sure that we're combating response times and getting to those life-threatening emergencies in a timely fashion.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that your organizations and the outreach that you can assist us with will help to increase those numbers of applicants and viable applicants. So we definitely, again, appreciate you all taking part in this roundtable.
Ozzy, I see you still have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. And I'd like to thank the fire officers for sharing this information and more importantly, for what you do out on the street for New Yorkers. Our question is, in terms of the recruitment process, is there any emphasis on getting bilingual people? We speak, I think, 180 different languages in New York. I obviously don't expect you to cover all of them, but I'm concerned since we have a Russian-speaking audience, Spanish, the various Chinese dialects, etc.
Pretty much, is there an emphasis? One of the things that we notice is that when we recruit broadly, as we do in the city, we get a representation from all of the different racial and ethnic groups of the city. And one of the things is to make sure that the news outlets, the places where folks get their information from, has this information available so we can continue to maintain and increase the level of diversity necessary to meet those types of needs. That's one thing that we know is important within the city. We do have to stress that in the Department of Citywide Admin's Notice of Examination, all individuals applying for this job must be able to read and be understood in English in addition to their language. So if English is a second language, they are more than welcome to apply, and we urge them to apply. As you made note, the city is extremely diverse with many, many languages and even dialects. And having been in the field in the past myself, I understand how important it is at times to work with someone that not only understands the language, but also the culture of the individuals that we're dealing with in the city. So yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Rico from Radio Soleil.
Yes, and thank you for having me. On this last question, I'm inviting to expand on it. When we dispatch EMT personnel to homes, do we try to take into consideration the language that the callers or the person involved speaks?
Yeah, so we thank God for technology. We have tons of technology. So when we are dispatched to these 911 assignments, we are able to show up with computers that have language lines. We have communication services through different carriers, one being AT&T, where we can have the patient speak to a translator. What we also do, just from an operational standpoint, is sometimes we have communities where there are they speak Chinese. We canvass our membership to place them into those particular areas, knowing that they're going to go into that particular community. So we try our best to make sure that we have our members serving the diverse city that we have, and that in smaller communities that we call Little Haiti, for instance, in Flatbush, we have a very large Haitian population that comes out of our EMS Station 58. So we do take that into account, but we definitely have technology on our side, which helps our members on a day-to-day basis.
If you're going to allow me, I have one more question. As far as high school diploma is concerned, there is an evaluation process. Is there such a process for the 15 college credits?
Yes, that process handles all of them. Any educational evaluation needs that an applicant has, that those services can provide it. They are located on the website with DCAS, and if they come into one of our filing sessions that we are currently holding on various days, we can always forward a schedule to you. and you can push those to the folks that you deal with. We definitely, excuse me, got off track. My phone started ringing on my arm. We have the ability to offer them the foreign education evaluation services that then take their information, evaluate it, and send it directly to DCAS. And that's the Department of Citywide Admin Services to help with their scoring. So they can have that sent directly via those particular services, and they do high school and college credits.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jennifer from GIA.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. So I'm taking a look at the attachments from the email that Orchida sent, and I'm just wondering, is the first attachment with the QR code, is that probably one of the best ones that we could add to the newspaper, or is there something else that you want to send to us that would be like a final version?
I believe, Amanda, the one that we sent to them is the final one, correct? I mean, we may send updates with maybe some different photos on it, but that QR code is the QR code that's taking them, if I'm not mistaken, straight to the exam page.
Yeah. And I think you can
yeah.
also just go to join FDNY. That would be helpful if you put joinfdny.com on there, because then that will link as well, and you can get all the information if you don't want to click on a QR code.
Okay, because this is, I would actually be sending this to be published for a newspaper, so I'm just looking at the two different attachments, and I'm thinking it's probably easier to have like one flyer that has everything, so I'll probably submit the first one and then have them add the email below.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Yep. And please stress to them as well that if they go to recruitment at fdny.nyc.gov or call the 999-3369, we can schedule them for an appointment to come in to various sites. We're currently doing filing sessions at the Manhattan Educational Opportunity Center at 163 125th Street, 15th floor in Harlem. That's the state office building. We'll begin holding filing sessions beginning on November 4th at Queens Educational Opportunity Center, which I believe is 134th and Archer. And we're currently holding sessions here at FDNY headquarters. So they can sign up, come in, and we'll take them through the process step by step to make sure they're doing everything right. We're all about trying to get them completed and processed properly.
Okay, great. I think that's all the questions that we have for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for your time today. If you guys have any follow-up questions, I will send you all Amanda's contact information. Again, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.